Hey everybody, Justin Cena here. This video is all about the Instagram influencer marketing promoted post. This is actually like your ad or your collateral in terms of the actual sponsorship that you're going to be creating between you and that influencer. So I'm going to kind of give you some guidelines in terms of what the post should actually contain and what it should look like. And this is really the idea of native advertising, and this is the truest form of native advertising. And just very briefly, what is native advertising? It's basically the idea of an ad that fits perfectly into the ecosystem that it's placed on. Obviously, in this case, it's Instagram. And when I mean fits perfectly, it's really the idea that, if apart from anything like saying sponsored or something like that, a user wouldn't really be able to tell at quick glance. They wouldn't be able to tell if it's an ad or a organic, or I should say, an organic piece of content on the ecosystem. So on Instagram, Instagram ads are a great example of native advertising. Obviously, Instagram influencer is a great example of native advertising because it just appears in stream, just like any other post on your Instagram app would appear, right? Let's say you're scrolling through your Instagram newsfeed. This works the same way on Facebook, right? And you see a sponsored post. Well, it's still a post that is coming from an account, right? It's got an image or a video. It's got content, description. Maybe it's got some hashtags on there, right? You can comment on it. Same thing as a traditional organic post. And really, when you are doing Instagram influencer marketing, it's not even going to have the same sponsored bar like it would when you were doing a paid ad, right? On the date line, instead of having a date line on Facebook, it shows sponsored. And there's very small text on an Instagram ad, not an influencer ad, but an Instagram paid ad where it says sponsored. In this case, it won't even say that. It's literally just basically an endorsement or a recommendation that comes directly from an influencer. And I gave you the stat earlier. I think it's about 91 or 92% of people respond positively towards product recommendations rather than product advertising. So again, this is the truest form of native advertising. This is really just basically looking like an organic post from an influencer. Now, to fit into the Instagram ecosystem seamlessly, we want to focus more on lifestyle imagery rather than promotional. Okay, and if you've been doing any Instagram paid ads, you already know that they really do not like marketing messaging, right? They don't want to have a big image that has a huge sticker that says 25% off, and then a big bar of text that says, click here, limited time offer, spring sale, blah, 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 right? They want lifestyle imagery. If you don't know what lifestyle imagery is, it's basically just your it's just your product being enjoyed in the real world, okay? So an ideal Instagram influencer post, an ideal one, this is not going to happen every single time, but an ideal one would be a photo that features the influencer enjoying your product. That would be awesome, right? Let's say, you have a guy, going back to the watch example. Watch Anish was a guy that I did some negotiating with in terms of sponsored post, right? He would actually go ahead and wear the watch. And that's a great thing. Now, there's some good and bad about that. The good is that that actual post is going to be a really true form of native advertising. It's going to fit perfectly into the Instagram ecosystem, and it's going to appear to his users to be just a normal post like he'd make any other day where he recommends some watches or features some watches or whatever. Now, the downside of that is it's harder to do this quickly, right? You actually have to go ahead. It's more expensive. You need to go ahead and send him the product. And then you need to wait for him to receive the product. Then you need to wait for him to create a photo of himself wearing or enjoying that product. And then you have to hope that he creates a good photo. Right? On the flip side is if you control everything yourself, you'd be able to go and make sure that you send that high resolution photo, proper sizing, which I'm going to share to you the specs on the next slide, and you have more control. You could move faster, but it's not the true ideal way, right? I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I've definitely done almost every single one that I've done has been not quote unquote ideal because I didn't really want to wait for the influencers to receive my product. But that's okay. But if you can wait, if you're okay with waiting, if you want to really have them, if you think it's going to make for a much better ad, then go ahead and send them a sample or two of your product and have them actually enjoy the product in a photo that they're going to post as the sponsored post. Now, who's going to create this post? And I kind of already spoke a little bit about that, but I think that you should create the post yourself, but you should try to match their voice. So you're going to create a caption, you're going to create a description, and it should be about a 1 to 2 sentence description of the product. And of course, don't forget a call to action, but you want to try to match their voice. Okay. Now, sometimes there's a right and wrong answer to this. If you go ahead and look back and see the last 20 of their Instagram posts have all kind of been comical, and they put some sort of like humor into their post, then I would definitely want to make a post that's something like that. If they're very professional, if they're very kind of distinguished in their voice, then go ahead and match that as well. you can give them the approval, or I'm sorry, give them the ability to edit the caption on their own, right? Give them the ability to go ahead and make changes to what you want to put up there and have them add their own voice in there, but you want to make sure that you retain final approval. You're not going to let someone create an ad or create a marketing message about your brand without you having final say on it, but it's okay to give them the ability to edit it themselves. You want to make sure that they're comfortable posting it, right? And more than that, you want to make sure that what you post fits in to their other stream of content, right? You don't want their, if every single thing is a lifestyle photo of them enjoying a product or in a cool area, and then the next photo that you send them is just a product photo with some very strong sales messaging, that's not going to fit into their stream, right? And really, someone who cares about their account on the influencer side, they probably wouldn't even want to post something like that. They're only going to post sponsored posts, again, if they're a good account, if it's going to fit their voice, fit the theme of what they've already been posting. Okay. Now, think about links. As you know, at least right now, links are not clickable inside of the description, but you still want to add that in there. Okay. And I'm going to talk about tracking in a later section of the Instagram influencer module here in the bootcamp. But you want to make sure that you have the link included in the description and in the influencer's bio during the post period, because you can click on links in the bio. That's why you typically see Instagram influencer posts saying something like link in bio, or click link in bio, find link in bio, find link in profile, right? That's going to give that clickable link, so they don't need to go ahead and retype whatever address that you do include in the description. You should still put that in there anyway, but the clickable link should be included in the influencer's bio, and sometimes they're going to charge you more for that, but typically it's worth it. Now, if you're not going to send the product to them, you want to provide a strong lifestyle image. I think a lifestyle image is always the way to go there. Lifestyle, again, is someone enjoying your product, or basically your product just out in the real world. And speaking of tech specs, we want to be 1080 by 1080. It's a big square. That's going to give you the most screen real estate on Instagram, and less text is best. Okay, you want to have as little text as possible. In fact, I think you should have zero text on your image, except for maybe the URL. Right, again, because there's no direct linking except in the bio, you want to make sure that URL is front and center, so you can put the URL maybe inside of your actual image. Otherwise, I would be very hesitant to use any other imagery. Maybe very lightly, you could put something if you're doing a promotion or a coupon code or a percentage off. Go ahead and highlight that as well. But you really want to maintain the idea of being a lifestyle image. And think about how Instagram was before anyone was doing any marketing on it. It was just people taking photos of their real life, right? That's the most direct definition of a lifestyle image. So go ahead and get that lifestyle image, send that over to your influencer if you're not going to send them the product, and you should be good to go there. Okay, and let's look at some live examples, actually. And these are some real examples in the real world of actual Instagram promoted posts. And one was Daniel Wellington, and the other one was Target. The one on the left is Target. And you can see what I'm talking about in terms of lifestyle imagery with both the product in the real world and someone actually using the product. Now, in the image with the kid, they're promoting Target's Cat and Jack. I guess it's like a line of child clothing, and obviously you got front and center. You got a kid, actually a pretty stylish kid, wearing that clothing in the real world, right? It's not just a photo of the, it's not just like a catalog shot of that little gray hoodie or those boots or whatever. It's actually someone wearing the product out in the real world. And even the same on the right-hand image, right? This is a Daniel Wellington. You see the watch over there. Now, that is something that is also going to be a lifestyle image. Now, this isn't necessarily someone wearing the actual watch, but they're absolutely showing this in a lifestyle setup, right? You got a little workstation here with some snacks and, a notebook, iPhone, just a very kind of stylistic, idealistic image with the watches in there as well. That's definitely considered a lifestyle shot. And that's one that's really would be a great one for you to go ahead and send out to your influencer, because it doesn't matter if the influencer is a man, woman, child, young, old, whatever. This lifestyle imagery without any subject in it, would definitely work regardless. So these are two great examples, right? You see lifestyle imagery. You see the link in the description. I'm sure the link was also in their actual bio, so it would be clickable. They tag the original account, right, at Target, at Daniel Wellington, right? That's your account, right? The original, I mean your account. So you get some extra clickback there as well. And there's even some call to actions and scarcity, right? And that's really cool. So they have use the code FAKELEATHER until May 15th, get 15% off, right? That's just very good marketing, right? Having call to actions. That's always a good idea. So these are two great examples, two live examples of sponsored posts that have definitely worked well for the company.